Call the meeting to order. Pledge the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Unaware, not sure where Clifton is, but he's probably en route, but we'll start the meeting on time. Mary, would you like to wait a couple minutes till the chairman of the board comes, or would you rather go on now?
Either way is fine.
But that's your call.
I'll be happy to wait till he comes.
Why don't we wait till a quarter of?
Sure.
And we'll see what happens, and that way you get an opportunity to talk to him as well. Any public comments? Hearing none. The minutes of the last meeting. It's been a while since I've read them, so I've got to refresh
I gave you both a copy.
There they are.
And then I have the August 2nd meeting also, but I didn't take a copy of it. It's just the appointing of a fair hearing officer.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
Yep.
I just need those both.
I went over them, but
He's here. He's here.
He's here. Just for fun, we're going to adjourn the meeting when he comes. It's not real, please. I tell you, we're not going to do it for real. But might as well make it feel good. Might as well wait till it gets closer. But technically, since we're on tape, somebody may take it as the real McCoy, so I better not.
It's good to have fun.
All right, is it coming? All righty, now do we have a motion this second to close the meeting?
Cool. Second.
See, I thought he would care, and what did I miss? Just starting Clifton, we had a guest this evening, and we just started. She wanted to wait till you were here.
I got here as fast as I could.
You're on. Mary's here. And,
Okay. Who's the guest?
Mary Reed, Carroll County
Oh.
Coalition for Public Health. I'm on her mailing list. So
Okay.
Thank you. And this is actually what I've come to bring you gentlemen this evening, or the community actually. It's a copy of the Public Health Response Index. Previously, you may have had a copy of this plan as a plan. It started out with pandemic flu, bird flu, smallpox. You probably had a 3 or 4 inch plan that held up other plans quite well on a shelf. And last year we made some changes to this to make it a companion annex to the ESF 8, the health and medical section of your local emergency operations plan, so that it became a little more purposeful and wasn't really just this 4-inch binder full of boilerplates filled in here. So we've tried to make it a lot more user-friendly. As you can see, it's a much smaller book. And when you look inside, you'll see there are some brightly colored sheets in there. Those are what we refer to as quick reference guides. And they give you a brief overview of what each section of the plan is about, how it can benefit the community of Brookfield, and how you would enact it, and why you would request our services. There's 14 public health regions in New Hampshire, and they're meant to give some regional services for public health. As you know, most communities rely on the state for their public health services, other than like Manchester and Nashville, who have a health department. So the state has looked to put out these regional, this regional approach that allows each community to sit on the council, give their input. Your EMD, Brad, is very active in it, as well as his wife Janet, in her role from Huntington's Hospital, as well as a citizen of Brookfield. They're very active in the committee, and they bring Brookfield's voice to what your needs are and how to best get services out to this area. Some of the things that we have in the plan are points of dispensing, which are for mass prophylaxis for our worst case scenario. If we had an anthrax attack and had to inoculate the entire population in 36 hours, that what you have in your hands there is the plan to do that. It also carries other things like we manage the Medical Reserve Corps, and that's our group of individuals, medical and non-medical, who respond to public health emergencies on a volunteer basis. If, let's say, you had some sheltering needs during a winter storm, and you had some people that had some medical issues or some functional access issues, we would be able to send some volunteers over with some equipment to help meet those needs for them in your shelter. We have medical cots rather than those small cots that go 12 inches off the floor. That can be very difficult for a lot of people to spend the evening on one of those. So we have some equipment that we've cached, that we've built up to store, that are available to you as a community in an emergency should you need them. In the book, it tells you how you can access us, and it is through the Carroll County Dispatch. They have 24/7 contact information for us. We're 3 deep in that, so if I'm away, there's someone else that can step right up and take my place and still get services out to you. I'm not sure how familiar you are with this or what kind of questions you might have, how detailed you'd like me to be, so.
This is specific emergencies, like it's point specific. So like if this little area had an emergency, then you could provide these services to here. What happens on a statewide or an emergency where how thin are you spread that way?
This is very scalable. As I said, there's 14 public health regions. Ours covers all of Carroll County except for Sandwich and Moultonborough. They're part of the Lakes Region Public Health. And the reason for that is these regions are based upon the catchment or service areas for the hospitals in that region. For us, that's Higgins and Memorial, and so that's why we have all of the communities in Carroll County except for Sandwich and Moultonborough. So it is very scalable. If the emergency was just in Brookfield, we're able to send assistance to you. If it was Brookfield, Wakefield, Tuftonboro, and Wolfboro, we have the ability to do that. And it's sort of I consider it a mutual aid for public health in the sense that each of the communities send volunteers and participate, as well as each of the public health regions will send to another region in the state. And we're just one layer of many layers in a public health response. We're considered a tier 3 for medical surge. There's another layer above us, there's 2 layers below us. So it's really when you've reached your capacities, when you reach to us. When we've reached our capacity, we'll reach to the next level, to the state level.
Okay.
I may have a medical emergency. Somebody decided to put these in my seat. And so far I've gotten 4 of them. So I
might want to stand up and just...
So I hate to tell you, I'm sitting here and I'm saying, wait a minute.
There's 2 more.
There's 2 more. So I'd like to thank the person who put those in my place.
I think you might want to stand
up.
up.
And I hope I have a good sense of humor. And I'm on Plavix, so I hope I don't start bleeding all over the place. So I hope you cover that somehow in your presentation.
See, I'm confident that the community of Brookfield will be able to respond to that type of...
I got a problem here. I gotta worry. I'm sorry. I'm sitting here saying, oh, this is nice. I gotta worry who it is.
I think that was supposed to be Cliff's chair.
I receive emails as Brad's assistant for emergency management. I receive emails from you on a regular basis, and I must congratulate you and what you do, because there's always some type of training and workshop that's going on.
We
you do a phenomenal job.
Training, and this fall we did try to bring Public Information Officer, the FEMA course, out to the region, and we didn't get quite enough response this summer, but we are going to try to do that again this fall. We offer it out to each community, so if you'd like to have someone from your community come and take this class so that they can get an overview and the training on how to be a good information officer for your community. It's a free training, and there is some funding available for first responders through a grant that's available for it to pay if you send a police or fire or DPW to backfill their position.
Are you funded by the county?
We are not funded by the county. We're funded by the CDC through the state.
Okay.
The money comes from the Centers for Disease, and then it's contracted through the state. We bid for, the Carroll County Coalition for Public Health bids on that contract, and it's either every year or every 2 years those contracts come out. Right now they're working under a 1-year contract.
Since we border Stratford County,
Mm-hmm.
sort of, not to go depending where you go, but since we border Stratford County, are there any plans if we needed to go south for services and emergencies?
There are no boundaries in the services. You do not have to, for this community, your point of dispensing is actually in Tuftonboro. We have 3 in the county for, as I said, that large scale, 36-hour, have to give antibiotics to everyone. We have a backup in Wakefield at the Paul School, but our main one is in Tuftonboro. And the reason for that is staffing is one of the biggest things. Geography is a challenge for us in this region. We don't have any highway. We're long, skinny, and have one major route, which creates some challenges for us. But by identifying 3 strong locations that we know we can staff, we know we can meet that time frame. We also have other plans in place to dispense medications at other locations as well. But yes, if you chose to go into Stratford County for services, you'd be accepted. We don't deny anyone when we give these medications out. If they were, say, a visitor from another state and they were here in New Hampshire, they would be welcome to come and receive medication or treatment or screening.
Okay.
The only question that I do have for you is if you would be willing to sign. We have a signatory page which states that we've come out to the community. We've left you with a copy of the annex and have our meetings, by the way, are the 4th Tuesday of every month. We hold them in the delegation room at the county complex, and they're at 9 o'clock if anyone's interested in attending. Thank you.
You're doing a good job getting around.
We've got just about every community now, or almost there. We do, I'm trying to at least come to each community once a year so that if you have any questions or let you know what our new plans are or what we're working on.
Do you guys do threat assessments to figure this out, to see what kind of threats that we might be facing? I mean, like the pandemic thing, the avian flu. Do you look at those and then say what the possibility of that being in this region is, and then that's how you base your book on?
It is. A lot of it is threat assessments are through the state, but we do participate in each community's hazard mitigation plan if they do invite us, and I have been to several of them throughout the region. I also participate in the rewriting or updating of local emergency operation plans to kind of, in each one of those planning, as you know, vulnerabilities are assessed in there and hazard mitigation is addressed so that we can look and see what each community assesses their risk to be. We also participate with the hospital in their hazard vulnerability assessment so that we do look at what each community sees to be the issue so that we can try to incorporate that into the response plan.
So what's the #1 threat for this region?
That changes according to, I mean, it's not one set thing that lasts throughout the year. I would say our most current threat right now is pandemic influenza. That seems to be the thing that's right on the edge for us right now with some of the new strains that are coming out. The plan is not based, I guess the best way to put it is not based on one health risk. It's an all health hazards approach. Identifying just one risk seems to be very daunting, and it creates these large books. If we look at a broad scope of how we can respond to any health emergency and then tweak it to be incident specific or event specific, that seems to be the most effective way for us to be able to have a strong response to it.
How about the homebound that would not make it to Tuftonboro or do not have the means
That's one of the plans that we're actually working on right now. They're considered a closed pod, and we would utilize the visiting nurses to get those out to the homebound.
Is there any question? Yeah.
Who decides what's a medical emergency? Somebody in town, somebody in your organization, the Board of Selectmen, and who contacts you?
That would be through the emergency management director through the selectmen. The emergency management director is the point of contact for communities for this. The multi-agency coordinating entity, our regional emergency operations center, is based upon this local emergency operations center being open, meeting their capacity, and then reaching to us at the regional level to help assist them respond to it.
The town still has a health officer, right?
Correct.
Dr. Marsh.
Yeah, Dr. Marsh.
So he could contact you if he felt there was a...
Correct. And
He would work with, he would actually work with Brad
Brad.
or Bill, who is the deputy.
Right.
But there's no such standards, so to speak, for
The threshold is when the
a health
town,
emergency, you know.
when the town feels it has met its capacity to respond, that's when they make that decision. Because who knows best when you've reached your capacity other than your health officer, your emergency management. You as a community know when you need more assistance, and that's when you would reach out. Similar to other emergencies that the town may have when you have your operations center open, you would reach to the state's EOC for assistance. Our EOC, the regional EOC, we call MACE, is the same setup. And in that annex, there is a framework that explains and dialogues exactly how that contact would go.
And that's why we have, over the past few years, been diligent about building up our capabilities of handling emergencies here at the town level with the cots that we bought, the first aid, the huge first aid kits and the go bags, that kind of thing, to make sure that we are ready to go. What was that?
The AEDs.
Yep. The defibrillators, that kind of stuff. So slowly but surely we are getting ourselves ready for...
What happens if we had an issue with all the rain and everything with the mosquitoes and some of the mosquito-borne diseases that are going around? I know the southern half of the state has sometimes had trouble with that. And it required something to be done. Do you step in and be the, say we had to spray or do something, do you step in and be the one to get through all the paperwork for something like that to be done? I mean, we're talking about something really big, not an isolated case.
Right. It would have to be very large, and we address the public health issue to it. So if you had many citizens that had an issue, we would not be part of, say, preventing the mosquitoes. We wouldn't do the spraying. We may be requested through the state to help facilitate some of the administration or, like you said, the documentation at that level, but that would still go to the state. That would be more of like environmental services than public health. But if you had citizens who were affected on a very large, it would have to be a rather large scale, we would then, at that point, the state would request us to help.
Kind of like Dallas, who have about 200 cases of the mosquito. I think it's, yeah, problem right now. That 200 of their residents are, but I mean, Dallas is a huge compared to that, but 200 residents here, that would be devastating to us, since we have, what, about 450 residents that live here year-round?
We can use Exeter as an example with the hepatitis issue. Our plans do not address screening for an illness, but because we've developed plans for large dispensing sites, they were able to incorporate those into and use that plan and that information that's been gathered and the volunteers that have been identified to titrate it to be able to meet the needs of that. And many of the plans for the Exeter Public Health Region and the Medical Reserve volunteers were used to hold the clinics that have and are still being held this week.
What information, Ed, you'll like this one, what information do you hold on individuals? Do you know about myself or anybody else in this room? Do you, as in your
No.
capacity, hold any of that information?
We do not.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Does Homeland Security have an involvement in this?
They do. Previously, the Strategic National Stockpile Program was through Homeland Security and Emergency Management. It has been moved over now to the Department of Public Health, Health and Human Services, but we work very closely with Homeland Security due to the fact that we, some of our plans are based on terrorist threats.
Is the plan also coordinated with the sheriff's plan that they have for emergency management?
Ours is just for public health events. We do work with the sheriff. He has become a very active partner with us, and they do attend our coordinating committee, and they're a voice there and share, and the sheriff is part of our security plan.
So if there was an emergency at the national level and the sheriff was activated by the county or by the state for the county, then he would basically be working with you also at that point?
We would all be working together with local police as well as state police. State police is part of our plan as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
One of my cards is in there as well as the rest of my contact information. If you have any questions, and as I said, we always look forward to having a presence from Brookfield at our meetings, which is the fourth Tuesday at 9 a.m. in the delegation room. Thank you very much.
Does Brad have a copy of this?
He actually has a little bit larger copy
Okay.
than that because he has a role in our dispensing plan, so he has some of the operational documents for that.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for coming. All right, moving right in, public comments. All right, approval of minutes.
We did forget to put the August 2nd ones also, so if you want to pass them down, would be fine.
Okay, we'll do them one at a time, right?
Yeah, one at a time.
Now, I gotta figure out who did this. I was looking around the room.
Security surveillance systems are going in.
That's it? That's what we gotta count. Hey, this could
That's
be
it.
considered
Part of our security.
And he's got a smile on his face.
He thought I was sitting there tonight.
I'll make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes from July 24th.
I second that.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any nays? Abstains? On to the next one,
We have the,
August 2nd.
make a motion, we accept.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Treasurer's report.
Pretty good in my chair.
It's okay. So we have some checks to sign. When I was here last night, Clifton authorized the checks the bills that were put aside, and so I did write those checks tonight. But
And those checks would be for the,
like it was Fairpoint and Verizon, and
yeah, there was more than my signature on them though already.
no, they were all by the three.
Yeah.
They were all authorized by the three. Oh. And I did do, because we're having to do the MS4, which is due in by September 1st, I did do the July statements. So. So here's
More old business. What's the dates on it?
1 through 10. We received an interesting bill from the International League of Cities located in West Palm Beach, Florida. They'd like you to become a member.
No.
I said, don't approve it. Just what you'd want to see when it
We're
gets...
not a city.
Oh. But it's for towns, boroughs, and municipalities.
Oh.
Are we one of those? Probably not. Other bills have come in. I was not sure, you all approved the Long Meadow account, and this may take Betty, but I wasn't sure what that would get charged to.
All Eddie's.
Is it being deducted from his check? Is it just being
What
paid?
is it for?
Stuff.
Maybe it's the display. Was,
The bill,
She here to take you in for your sabotage?
No, just in case you guys get unruly.
Oh, cool.
the bill for Long Meadow, what is that for?
What does it, for some reason, the bill stopped coming to me, so I have no idea what's what. I used to go through them.
Yeah, I thought you got it first, sorry. No, because you'd have coded it.
I would have gone to the
have we gotten this already? Oh, I think maybe we-
Trim rollers.
Maybe we could just,
We got the stuff we didn't.
paint and rollers.
Yeah.
That is to mark the culvert markers and the stop lines in the road.
About $30 for $28, something like that.
113.
Yeah, that special paint, it dries in 6 minutes, so you go through a lot of rollers when you go from
One line to the next.
One road to the next stop line. A lot of times, if you're not, if you haven't got the bag completely tight and everything else, it puts a coat on it, and then pretty soon you go through a liner.
Okay, so this would go to road maintenance,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
This is for road work.
Yeah, if it's all my stuff, it's all my stuff.
maybe you should look it over to make sure that it's.
Did you already sign that? I think so.
Good, these are
That's,
good.
this, I don't get a new bill from the school district each month, so I photocopied last month's bill that you had approved and need you to just approve this month, which is that amount.
Okay. So we're doing this as the August.
Yeah.
Ew. So you crossed this all out and we have to do it again?
Well, because I don't get a new bill from them each month until they start back, till like September, October, so.
Yeah, that is what it assumes.
I will be working on the MS4 this week. Tell me what days, did you indicate you're going out of town? When are you out of town?
I'll tell you that off camera.
Okay. Sorry.
I got people trying to knock me off here.
Or deflate you.
There you go, that's even better. We held on to that, and we had a discussion, and we thought you should be here to help discuss and make this decision.
Okay.
We have a thing handed to us for Virginia to attend a conference up in North Conway.
Yep.
We do not have an agenda of, I don't think we received the agenda of what's happening. And we were of thoughts that, again, we're only discussing things, that maybe we should just pay for the transportation, and we should not pay for the overnight housing, since it's in Conway, or North Conway.
Okay. Historically, we have paid for the overnight housing. And that's because Virginia is involved in the setup and running of the conferences for the town clerks. Is part of the reasons why it was explained to me that she stays there. And she puts it into her budget every year to do it.
My concern is we don't have an agenda, and if I knew that they're gonna put me up at I had no idea, she could be, but if I knew they're gonna put me up overnight, I'd volunteer to go too and help set up some tables. So, I mean, I don't really know.
I spent some time with her. She was trying to describe to me what
Okay.
was on. And the first evening she gets there, that evening, so that she's prepared to take money and register people. That's the $109 night. That's at the beginning of the program. The next 2 nights, it's a full day's worth of work with a banquet on Thursday night, and then Friday morning there's a round table where they have a discussion with the various people from the state to talk about specific questions and answers on how to do their job.
Does your association pay? I would think they should pay part of this as well. I mean, if she's setting up for them.
Well, I guess my take on it is, I think this year we pay all 3, but we go on record to say next year, the first night, if she's still volunteering to work for the association, they cover the first night. Because this is a shift in our policy. In the past, we paid for all 3. So I think we should pay for all 3 and go on record that next year we'll pay for the 2 for the session if it's a reasonable distance. And the first night, if she's volunteering for the association, they cover her first night's lodging. Oh, the RSA says we have to pay the dues. It doesn't say we have to pay the lodging.
It says she'll be entitled, so this is RSA 31-8, and it's for Town Officers Association. It says you need to pay the dues, but it also says, in addition to the annual membership fee, shall be entitled to receive their actual expenses incurred in attending the actual convention of their respective associations, the same to be audited by the selectmen of towns and finance committees of cities and paid out of city and town funds.
Well, we have never, in our discussion last week, were not supportive of her going. And at our thing, or 2 weeks ago, we said, at the very least, we would fill an obligation to pay the mileage. So
Yes.
we had never been on record to say we would not do that. Our question was, does it go to where do you draw the line as far as mileage? If it was held in Ospey, are we going to pay to put her up at a motel? I mean, it's the people's money, that's fine. Nothing against Virginia, it's...
If we're going to change the policy, and we can discuss that, I think we should go on record for next year what our policy is going to be.
Okay. Fair enough.
And that could just be the conference cost.
Right, here's the key line, and unfortunately, we're gonna have to get a professional opinion on this, because this is beyond my purview. Shall be entitled to receive their actual expenses incurred in attending the annual convention of their respective associations. So, if this is her actual expenses to go up there, then according to this, she's entitled to them.
She always adds her mileage, remember, at the end.
Right, well, that's part of it.
Yep.
Now, if her expenses are only to pay for the attendance of the conference and her mileage, but not room and board.
Oh, yeah, we should pay for her to attend.
Okay.
The room and board's the issue. That's...
Okay, but that's something that we'll have to get verification on, because that's above my
I think
legal mind.
I think we should pay it, because if we're going to
Well,
pay
for
it,
this month, this year, yes.
if we're going to
But
pay the
when we
mileage,
go
it's $40.
further- Yeah, if we go further than that, you know, next year you guys, we all decide, or the majority decides to not pay for the overnight room, then we have to verify that that's within our legal means to do. See what I'm saying?
Yes, and I suggest we divide it into two issues. The first night, when she's working for the association, we do not cover that. That is the association's responsibility to get her there early. Now, the next two nights are the ones that are in question in my mind, and that's this.
Seems like a reasonable approach.
Okay. So we're
I
gonna,
would like to vote on this, and we have this.
okay. You wanna make a motion?
Rich?
I'll make a motion that we approve the voucher as submitted by Virginia for attendance to the town clerk conference in, I think it's North Conway, and we cover 3 nights lodging as presented this year.
And?
That should be another motion. You want to talk about the first night now?
Well, I think it should be part of the, and it'll be revisited or...
Let's talk about it when this is done. We'll talk about it tonight. I think right now we should pay this bill, and then let's talk about the policy going forward.
Okay, I have a motion on the table. Do I hear a second? I will second it for discussion, so we can continue the conversation. All right, go.
No, I just think that should be part of the motion. I don't have a problem. I can support the thing as long as it's upfront. Well, you approved it last year, which could be said, because we approved a motion to approve this bill. Maybe we shouldn't just have the motion on the floor. Maybe that's the easier way around it. I don't know. Because she come back and say, hey, you approved it last year, I want to go this year. I don't mind it being approved.
Well, we can't stop her from going to this conference.
I understand that. I don't have a
Okay.
problem she goes. I think it's great.
But it's how we pay, but it's how we pay for the overnight stay that's the question.
That is correct.
So, right now we have a motion on the floor with a second for this year's conference. Do I have any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against?
I'm voting no, but my purpose of voting no is that I believe it should have additional wording to say that we're going to check into next year.
Okay.
You want to sign that?
We're going to get my car registered.
Good luck with that.
Now, I'd like to make another motion.
Wait,
Okay.
you sit in the next seat.
That's exactly what
I'd like to make another motion.
All right.
That going forward, we do not pay for the night required by her, what's the right word, by her,
Association. It is an association.
assisting or association.
we don't pay for any nights required for her attendance. We don't pay any lodging required for her to be there at an earlier time due to her association with the town clerk.
No, due to her activities. Let's see, I don't know what this, I know what you're trying to say.
Let me put it differently then.
Pay only for attending the conference.
Well, that wasn't a given yet either, Ed. That wasn't a given yet, right? What we're talking about is that first night that's questionable because the conference doesn't require her to be, there's nothing going on there other than registration.
Right.
Here, I'll make a motion
All right.
I'll make the motion that we move forward with the help of legal advice to find out the responsibilities under the RSA, the town's financial responsibilities for the conference, lodging, meals, mileage, for just the conference or conference and her work performed for the association.
Could you repeat the motion?
I'm
please?
not sure we want to know the answer to that question because there's a lot of people that go to conferences.
Yeah.
If we have one employee that's interested in going to a conference and spend 2 nights there, at this point we're talking about 1 night, 1 person, 2 nights. Unless you want to get a ruling on all our clerks and assistant clerks on what we're going to pay.
That's what this covers. This RSA covers every association for every town employee.
I understand
That
that.
belongs
So
to
we're gonna go
association.
down the path of,
No,
what do you mean, no?
Ed.
No, no.
He says, I get to spend the night, and I said, no. That's why I said we need to get legal advice on this before we move forward with it. Because I'm not an attorney, and I only see this. Were there any examples behind this RSA?
You know what, I was given that, I was gonna look it up, but I was given that, so I don't know Clifton.
Can you pull me the RSA book, 31A?
Why don't we just investigate?
It'll only take me a second to look at this.
And a motion, is there a second?
No.
Motion's dead.
Now, we've never questioned her going through this, we've supported it. It's
There's
that-
no update, so you can look in there.
I would like to have an agenda for next time of what the meetings. I think it should be attached.
There should be a way to go to the website, I know I get stuff from the finance officers.
It's in my favorites, all the statutes and everything.
No, the agenda for the conference,
Oh, yeah.
you should be able to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. When is it?
No, the person should be able to submit it with it.
It's, fall.
My November one, they don't have the agenda up yet. They just did a save the date. Get ready.
10/16.
What do you mean by?
10, 16, and 19.
Okay.
My,
And I'm not
My
retired.
conference.
you've got a conference also?
Everybody does.
November, sure. But I don't stay.
Usually. All the time.
Actually, this year I want to, but I'm
Very
paying it on
slippery.
my own.
Yeah, that's why, let's take our losses. Yes.
All it does is,
There's
Do
a
they hold the
comment.
conference in the same place every year?
no.
So
They've been
next year it could be-
They do, yeah.
They've been
Pittsburgh.
holding, well, they've
They've
gone to
been-
various locations. They've settled on North Conway because they give them
Rejecting.
the same rate year after year. And they think it's an attractive rate, so they keep going back to North Conway.
So is it because it's so close that you're concerned about the hotel? Or- I'm just thinking what happens if next year they decide to go to.
Oh, they've been to the Balsams. They've been up north, yeah.
Yeah.
They
This
keep-
being so, my concern, this one being close enough to, how many people in town travel that every day going back?
It's a 45-minute drive from here, to an hour drive.
Okay, so it's not unreasonable to expect somebody to drive back and forth each day. That's within, if it was further than that, or it was up in the Balsams, that would be a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. Well, it could be next year, right?
That is correct.
Could be.
Next year would
Could
be,
be.
that's just my personal opinion.
The only amendments to this that's in the book is they're talking about it shall not exceed $20. It started off
That's the dues.
3 to 6, 6 to 10, 10 to 20, and in 1973 they substituted New Hampshire's Association of Assessing Officials for Association of New Hampshire's Assessors, following pay annually to the and providing or provided following therein in the first sentence. So that's the only change. So
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we only consider reimbursing employees of the town for travel and expenses directly associated with attending a conference in their field, if it's been approved in advance.
Time opens up a Pandora's box. Time's been seconded, sorry.
I didn't say we had to.
do I hear a second? No.
Give it a shot, Bill.
Motion's dead.
You know,
I think before we travel any further down this road, we need to speak to the attorney and get a read on this, what this means.
Seems fair, and we'll come back and address a case-by-case study. or whatever.
Well, depending on what the attorney says, will depend on whether or not we have the legal authority to say that if your conference is within a certain mileage range or travel time, that we will not pay for overnight stays. If it exceeds that mileage range, then the town would have to pay for it, for any overnight stays. But like I said, this is very vague. It just says for all expenses incurred due to the conference. On the first night, she's actually acting as part of the association, and she's working for the association to collect dues or registration fees and to register people into the conference. Therefore, I agree, the association should actually pick up with that. And that would be a question that we could ask the attorney as well, because she's actually working directly for the association that first night, and it's not required for her to be there for the conference. Does the town have to financially pick that up? So those would be the questions I would have to, I or one of you could put to the attorney. And after the attorney gives her advice, then we bring it back to the table and move it forward from there. All agree?
Yeah, that's good.
All right, let's do it.
So I don't need a motion for that, right?
I would ask that I not be the one to contact the attorney. Based on my vote, I don't want to see prejudice in.
I'll contact the attorney, that's not a problem.
Would it be unreasonable to get her to write something down for us?
Absolutely not. I'll ask her for her opinion in writing.
Even email would be fine, something we could put in the file.
I will ask for her opinion in writing.
Okay.
Okay.
Could I have that back and make you a copy?
Yes, please.
Wow, that took a while.
2 years ago, I wrote a accounts payable procedure, and I should give you a copy of this as well, on how the procedure for paying bills. And it's my understanding that it needs to be reviewed. So currently, the way I have it reading is that all bills will be presented to the selectmen for their approval at a selectmen's meeting, submitted to me by the town treasurer and the road agent. Then bills received from any departments will be submitted to me prior to the meeting, would be coded, and then would be approved by the selectmen, and I'll give you a copy of this. My understanding now is that the selectmen might want more time to look at the bills ahead of the meeting, and I have no problem with that, but I'd like to just have some discussion on what would be the selectmen's preference, and then I can redo the procedure so that we're on the same page.
Open the table for discussion.
Well, I felt, I shot some email off, I felt that didn't have enough time at this meeting to understand what I was signing and approving. So the suggestion was, I think Bill made a suggestion that we consider having Mary Lou drop the bills off in our office on the weekend sometime at her convenience, and we have a chance to look at them. And if we want to question them or don't understand them, we have an opportunity to do that in non-real time. So when we get to this meeting, we can ask the questions.
Question in the sense of putting a flag on it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
those would be held aside till we meet as a group.
That's
so
right.
Like the telephone company may not be an issue, the electric company, that's
right. We're not approving them, we're just reviewing them.
Okay.
And so my perspective would be any time at your convenience on a weekend to drop them off would work for me. And then when would you want to pick them up again? You want to get them Monday?
I don't mind getting them at the meeting and then writing them as we've done.
Oh. So we would look at them, and if we approve them initial and put them back, and on Tuesday night, the ones that are
taken out.
The ones that are approved or initialed, you're all set with, and the ones that we didn't approve, we'd discuss.
So now, would that be a factor, like you came in this evening with checks? What would happen with that whole process?
Well, you had approved those, and I happened to be here last night. So I picked them up and wrote them. So if they're here, if I typically stop by on Monday night. Mm-hmm. If I stop by on Monday night and they're all approved, I don't mind writing them for you to sign on Tuesday.
Okay.
So, if that's agreeable. And then I think the situation will arise where, like tonight,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they were all approved, but, oh,
Yep.
look, more bills.
Or that one that we just had the big discussion on that we didn't sign off on.
Right. So, all right, so I will rewrite the procedure to reflect that. My only issue is I will not be in attendance at the next selectmen's meeting. So I'm going to see my mother in California, 97 and a half.
Good for her.
Time to go. So, I'm not sure how to handle those end of the month bills, but typically they aren't as important as this, the first of the month. This is when we typically pay most of the bills.
I will go on record saying that any bills that happen to occur during that period of time can wait till you get back.
Okay, I'm only gone a week, so,
They can wait.
okay.
The town won't cease to exist, or
It won't.
the companies won't cease to function because we didn't pay our bills for a week.
And the other thing that I typically do is leave you one signed check in, you know, where the checks are, so that if an emergency should arise, you at least have my signature on one check. And if the three of you agree and need to spend it, you can spend it. Is that agreeable? And then we'll go from there. And I'll let you know, I'm back Labor Day, so I'll let you know.
Yep.
Okay?
That's fine.
Okay.
And you'll route that to everyone that gives
I
you
will.
checks? Like
So I will.
Ed's not here right now, he's in the back.
Yep, so I will rewrite this and then route it to everyone. I'll give you a copy of this and I'll send you a revision of it and we can approve it at the next meeting I attend.
Excellent.
Okay? Goodbye for now.
I've got some questions though. I looked at your last printout.
Oh, no.
Yes. And I don't understand some of it.
Okay. My other paper's going to be...
What do you got?
35-1, sale of municipal property. We sold municipal property?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, it was before me, that's fine.
Oh, sale of, wait a minute.
You're talking about,
3501.
okay, that's coffee mugs, that's knickknacks, books,
Fine.
the stuff that Virginia
Copies.
actually sells stuff there.
It's copies as well, tax cards, la la
Yes.
la la la.
Okay, the other one I want to...
Yeah, we didn't sell a piece of
I
land
didn't know what that was.
for $100, so.
Internet, which is 4194.
4194.
That is the,
I gotta get there.
Page 4.
that's the fee to, who designed the internet? Our
Virtual town hall.
virtual town hall for this year's,
Understand.
And it was over by $40.
Understand. I just didn't, when you saw internet, I thought Time
and you
Warner.
know, the other piece of that is, the other $40 was setting up web addresses.
Right.
Okay. And the road agent, now that summer maintenance, if I read your column right on page 5, we've got 29% left through the end of June.
Oh, you know what? You need to look at July because summer maintenance, no, his charges.
We're almost
Yes,
out.
we're almost there.
We're
We're
almost
down
out
to
of money.
9%. But most of his summer work left will probably be on the Big Stone End project. And
Which won't
that
come out of
comes out of, at the very end, on the very last page,
That's the
That
one.
was it, yes.
the 75,000 under 4,900.
I'm talking about your summer budget, and it's, Mary Lou tells me now we're down to 9% left for the summer maintenance.
So you're down to 6231 left,
For
6,000.
the road agent.
For the road agent charges.
Yeah, materials is still 23,544.
We're okay?
Well, remember, this is only how many years have we projecting these budgets, 3 years.
Yeah, on this standard.
So it all comes and goes. I mean, I would be more interested in what the total labor and materials are.
So you have 23,000, you've got 30,000 left for summer maintenance.
And that's before, well, tonight's bill is all warm.
That's as of the end of July.
Okay. Sounds reasonable to me.
Because most of your work from now on will really be the Stoneham project.
Well, that's all, this bill cycle is 100% stone, is the warrant money.
I guess,
So that puts us, I mean, I'll be most of this month working up there. And then.
So is there any other summer work you might have left and time for afterwards?
Oh, sure.
So I would think it would come, you know, you've got 39,000 in winter stuff. And so on your overall budget, you still have almost 69,000
Well,
left.
that's the figure I would use, the overall budget, until we,
Have we already purchased the sand and salt?
no.
No.
So that's got to come out of that winter
Yeah.
budget first.
Yep. So what's the overall amount of money left?
$68,995, not counting anything that was submitted after July 31st
This would be
for the
first
road
one.
budget. And if that's all warrant project, that's
Yep,
there.
okay, I'm just trying to check that we're okay yet.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And the other item that I saw was the planning board secretary. Through the end of June, we have 36% of the budget left. And at that rate, we're going to be overrunning that line item.
I did have an opportunity to talk to the chairman of that committee and made him aware that this number was getting very close to being spent.
Now remember, there's only 4 more months left in this year.
And this is through June.
So
No, through July.
The one I'm referencing is through June, which is 6 months, so I'd expect to see a number like 50% there.
Okay.
I don't know what it is now.
22%, and I do have 2 more, I do have 2 bills to pay for him tonight's salary.
So that might be an issue.
For the planning board.
Well, as long as we communicate it to them.
Yep.
well, I communicated it to the chairman, because I knew that question had come up before, and I saw the chairman and spoke to the chairman to make him aware that this was an issue.
Do we have a policy on line items if they go up to, I mean, what's the board's policy with respect to line items?
When they're dealing with their overall budget, as long as, historically, as long as they've lived within their budget for their overall budget, it hasn't been an issue. We've been tweaking and pushing people to live within each line item budget, and that's why we've been, like on the road agents, it's only, this, the way that we've been doing this is about 3 years now for the road agent. So we're still tweaking the numbers to figure out exact costs, and for winter maintenance, how much to reserve for plowing, how much to put in for the summer maintenance. Originally it was split 50-50. So the planning board should be living within their budget, and their whole budget for planning and zoning was $6,478 proposed. They have 2,384% remaining, which isn't a lot.
And 2 bills coming in tonight.
And with 2 bills coming in tonight for him, so they're probably looking at less than, probably about $1,800. I don't know how big his bills are. $1,700 to make it the last 4 months. So notifying the chair that they need to live within that budget for this year and not go over that budget, which means either somebody, will have to take minutes as a member, once that budget runs out.
They have to manage it.
Yeah.
They've got to manage it, but we have to make sure they understand.
They have to look at where the hours went, is what they need to do, is figure out what the hours are and adjust their budget up or down accordingly and get it approved by us in the fall for next year.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
How would the chair know that they're getting close to their budget? Didn't you give them copies of this every once in a while?
You know what, I do not give individual committees copies,
So
but
what,
there is always a copy of the current one in the common office. And I do change, like tonight I'll change that out from June to
Okay.
July.
Right.
So they may not be aware that it's there would be the issue. And if you want me to give them a copy, I'll give them a copy.
No, as long as he knows it's there and they all know they can call you to get their budget, or they
Yes.
can call the board to get the budget.
Former chairman
right, but
have
in
called
this
me.
case,
Yeah.
the chair didn't know they were getting close, and it wasn't until somebody looked to say, ooh, is there something going on here?
Well, it was the
Address.
understanding back months ago that they were working on a special project, and there needed to be a lot of time poured in that project. You're getting before voting. They were doing a lot of work on some specific project.
But they should still be cognizant of
Yes.
what their budget is and how far along they are, so
Right.
they can manage that.
Right.
Yep. Any other questions?
Yeah, Bill, do you think they understand? Or we're gonna, your comment was sufficient?
I think we should follow it up. I definitely think the chairman was aware and was receptive to knowing that information, and will be passing it along, but who's ever on the panel, when do they meet again?
Second Monday of next month.
Last night?
Plus you have 3 planning board members here, I'm sure he'll know about it.
Okay.
And you know what, former planning board chairs have contacted me, and I've given them and conservation and anybody else have contacted me and said, where am I in my budget? And I sent it to them, so it's not a problem for me to send it if I need to. And I will update the one tonight for July.
Well, I think maybe that he should know right away, because there's a lot of work can be put into things that maybe they really don't need to do, that are not prioritized, type of thing. And so maybe we should.
Well, as the designated selectman on the planning board, I will sit down with the chair of the planning board and go over the budget with him and make sure that they understand.
Okay.
Make sure that he puts a plan together to live within that budget.
I may have an extra copy, do you want to take
No,
it?
I can burn a copy.
I have one.
You have an extra copy, then I'll take that one.
Okay.
I was just gonna burn him his page. I wasn't gonna give him the whole budget.
Oh, I did that.
Any other questions on the budget, Rich?
No.
Okay. Just on a note, as of July 31st, total appropriations for the town was $766,936. Actual spent year-to-date as of July 31st is $363,743, leaving a balance of $403,163, or 53% of the budget still left for the town wide. Which 7 months gone, that's pretty good. We're more than halfway over and we still have half of our budget left. And that doesn't include expenses for the school though, because that's not included in the budget because that's separate. So, and do you know what our balance in our checkbook is as of right now?
I was gonna look tonight and I didn't. I don't know, but
Okay.
it's gonna go down by the school.
Yeah.
I know it's over 400,000, so.
So we have a healthy balance right now. We have
Those
a
numbers
large
so
payment to
far
the school
apart
for
from
August,
153.
363,000 I think it is. So
They were
we'll
closer, I
have, we
could
still
buy
have
53.
plenty in the
They're fairly
checkbook.
significantly
We're not
apart,
deficit
though, because-
spending, which is a good thing. I'm proud of this town and its budget and how it runs.
I can look at that. Yeah.
So, any other questions on the budget? Anybody from the audience? Hearing none. Move on. I don't see the tax, yes, sir.
What is the total amount that Brookfield pays to Carroll County per year?
It's right on the blue
It's
book.
on here.
At the end, probably.
There's at the end.
What we pay out to the county?
It's right in the budget for the town, right in the town report. What they propose is their budget.
It's always 100 and something.
Yeah, it's not too much over 103 maybe, something like that. 103,000.
Yeah, I don't think it was in our budget, though.
It's usually listed in the book somewhere that,
Yeah, it's listed actually in a couple places. It's
Yeah.
listed on the overall expense page of
and
the
at the
book.
very end of the,
Yeah.
When we go to reconcile the thing at the state, they'll always add in the school part and the county part. That's coming up too. Setting the tax rate.
Set tax rate's coming up here next month. As long as the DRA has everything together and not falling behind on their workload like
But I
last
do
year.
have to get them the MS4.
Yes, they have to have all that stuff before we can move forward. Send it registered too. Because they're gonna say they lost it again, or they never received it again.
You're gonna put together a draft on that and bring it to us?
I am going to put together a draft on it. I will probably have it by the weekend so you can look at it. And then somebody will need to get back to me so I can get it out to them. Oh, I know I put it in here.
Is this the one that where we say we've actually spent and the one what we're projecting for the end of the year?
What's that, this one?
No, the MS.
MS4 is what you're projecting the income. It's the difference in.
Oh, this is the income.
Yeah, that'll be
Just
any
the
increase,
income.
yeah, it's the increase of income to see, and if we, like, if we were to have an unexpected windfall of income to come in, say we collected an extra $30,000 more than we had projected, that actually helps lower the tax rate for the coming year.
I did have one question for you. If you would look at line, it's on the income page, $4,000 state grant.
Is that an income line?
Yep, here, 3351, the shared revenue block grant.
Yes.
4,000. Do we think we will get that this year? I get the room and meals at the very end of the year. I get the highway block grant quarterly. I've seen nothing yet for the shared revenue block grant.
Yeah, that usually comes at the end of the year. That's not a quarterly one.
I know it's not quarterly.
And that's down from,
So-
I believe that's down from last year.
So we think we'll still get it. So I shouldn't adjust the MS4.
They will adjust that line for us because they'll have that
They'll have
information.
access to it.
Yep,
You're right.
they do it every year.
A question on 3353. We're $8,000 less.
We have 1 quarter left to receive.
Well, it's ended on a quarterly basis.
Yes.
Okay, I knew one of them was going to be short. They lowered the amount. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Actually, they already, but they told us what that one was gonna be,
They
right?
did tell us.
The highway block grant, we know ahead of time exactly what that dollar figure is.
Yeah, and they did adjust it.
It's the room and meals and the shared block grant that we don't know until it shows up.
Mhm.
And it shows up December 29th.
Right. But that's the thing, the DRA will know that when we send the MS4, they will automatically adjust it to what the numbers are actually gonna be. Because they seem to, they know way before we know.
Right. They want the interest.
Yes. It's a lot of interest if you add it up for every town.
Yeah, sure.
Anything further on the budget or for the treasurer? I'll get you a number for that, Ed, on what the cost is. Tax collector's not here, town clerk, not here. Your deputy tax collector. Do you have anything?
I went to work the last month. I mean, I can go look what the receipts are if you'd like, but no, I don't have anything.
Okay. Administrative assistant?
I spoke with Avatar regarding this bill that Mary Lou submitted.
You're stepping out of line.
You quote for her.
Okay.
I called for the administrative assistant, not for the assessor clerk.
Oh, that's true.
You know what? Next time, I'm gonna change this. It's gonna cause trouble.
That's all right. Assessor clerk.
This is the one where they charged us 2 hours
Yeah.
for the letter. They made a mistake. Oh, I'm sorry.
Thanks, Rich.
So they gave us a 1 hour credit.
Yes, because they went back and forth. Michelle went to Chad. Chad says, no, I only put 1 hour. She says, no, Chad, you put 2 hours. So anyway, they give us an hour credit. So I don't know if they're gonna send us another
We
bill. I
squawked at that
probably
one,
should have
yes.
asked.
I don't blame you.
Two hours for the letter.
20-minute letter, they're gonna charge us 2 hours
As soon
for
as you
it?
showed it to me, I was
We're
like,
together.
what?
Well, this
Please.
goes,
Oh, you wanna
this
sign it?
goes,
And that'll go to Mary
Mary
Lou?
Lou.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, Rich and I worked on a couple weeks ago, I just want you to sign it so I can give it to Mary Lou. We got a download on the art of welfare.
Cool
It's
beans.
the LGC,
the green book that we were
you know,
running
the
around.
publication. Okay, so we did it, I put it on my credit card because we were having issues.
They actually charged us for it?
They
Yeah,
wanted $20 for each
you
hard
only get
copy.
one.
They wanted $20 for every hard copy.
every
You
hard-
could download one for $10.
For $10. So I did the 10 and that's all.
That's why she mailed it to us.
So you did a download so we can print out as many copies as we need?
Yeah, it should be in your email.
Okay.
So everybody should have gotten a copy.
Just double check.
I got this letter from Paul Tremblay, if you want to read it, the ZBA.
Board of Selectmen, I request the following recommendations as members of the ZBA. Paul Tremblay, Chair. Ryan Robichaud. Janet Murphy, Dan Dancero, Richard Mauser. The expiration term for all members is 2013. Please don't hesitate to contact me if you need more information.
They should be staggered.
I was gonna say, shouldn't they be mixed up a little bit?
What's the book say? The book should have their actual term dates.
I read it and it said everybody has to be voted every April, every year.
I think so.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a-
what it
it's a-
said.
It's an annual appointment.
Who is this?
I have a copy.
ZBA.
So,
Richard Mauser was 2012, Janet Murphy 2013, Dick Peckham Vice Chair 2012, Paul Tremblay Chair 2014, Dulcie Lavender 2014, and Rich Sacker was an alternate, looks like a selectman's representative, no, just an alternate,
Yep.
in 2014.
now, I had the RSA and it said April of every year. is what-
Right,
Yeah.
but we still stagger.
How do you do
No.
that? That doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. Because if you read the RSA, and I know which one you're talking.
Yeah, I have a copy of it right over here.
Okay. The RSA states that they have to be appointed, the ZBA is to be appointed every April of each year for all members. So it's not like other committees and commissions where they're a 3-year or 2-year appointments and we stagger them.
No, I've been doing that for years.
I know we have.
Maybe the Board of Selectmen should consider
Reappointing,
having that, the members of that board voted.
No.
At town meeting through a ballot system.
but every year?
No, if you do it by ballot, it'd be a 3-year term.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
If they're voted on by the people. rather than appointed.
Well, that's good, whoever quoted it, good.
Now, this is the,
Is that the wrong one?
this is just their rules and procedures. The chairman shall be annually by a majority vote of the board in the month of April and shall preside over the meetings and hearings appointed to such committees as directed by the board and shall affix her signature in the name of the board. The vice chair shall be elected annually by majority vote of the board in the month of April. Secretary will be appointed in the month of April. All officers shall serve for 1 year and shall be eligible for re-election. And actually, that's not right, it's reappointment.
All officers, and I think you're talking about officers, right?
There's two ways to do a
Yeah.
ZBA. One is by election, which
Right.
is one set of rules, and one is by appointment, which is what we do.
But the officers serve for 1 year, not the members.
Every board, every officer,
didn't read the
every
membership.
board has to be reappointed once a year.
It just says that the board shall consist of 5 members and up to 5 alternates who shall be appointed as provided by the local legislative body. Alternates should attend all meetings finalizing. Members shall reside, any members attained. Yeah, this doesn't say. I have to look at the RSA again.
Does it say what the RSA is or no?
Yeah, 6761.
I can see if they said reapprove or.
They were
The problem
It's the
becomes with
planning
me
board
and doing
one,
it that way, is you can have a
676.
drastic change.
Is it over here?
They were
Should be down on the second shelf.
The officers are appointed.
Second shelf down.
I think the members are.
Right there, yep.
Members are, okay, that would make sense.
That's what we're talking about right now.
So it's a reorganization of their board, and they need to meet by that time to reorganize. That makes sense.
1.
That makes good sense.
And that's what we're going to check right now.
Method of adopting rules of procedure.
Yeah.
Every local, yeah.
So basically, we just need to ask the ZBA to meet once a year to,
Yeah,
even if they
so
had
that'll
nothing
be
going
done
on, they need to
the
reorganize once each year. That's fine. That's what we've done, basically.
These are local guidelines. This list is the entire board now, Jessica, you think?
That is.
No
that-
alternates?
No, I think that was it.
That's what- that's what-
Yeah, each member of the board shall be a resident of the municipality in order to be appointed or elected. Zoning Board of Adjustment members who are elected shall be elected for the term provided under RSA 673-5. The terms of appointed members of the Zoning Board of Adjustment municipalities in office on the effective date of an affirmative decision to elect such a board member shall not be affected by the decision. However, the term for each member expires. Each new member shall be elected at the next regular municipal election for the term provided under RSA 673-5-2. I'm just trying to see if it actually says term limits. And it does not set a term limit.
Do they have anything coming up?
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
673-5-2. The term of an elected or appointed local land use board member shall be 3 years.
Right. So this is not correct.
So they are staggered.
They are staggered, and they're
They
up
are
to 3, and
staggered.
it is a 3-year term.
So he needs to put expiration.
He needs to
on-
give term dates.
Okay, Mary Lou, you're right, see? Uh-oh.
Further information says that the initial term members first appointed or elected to any local land use board shall be staggered so that no more than 3 appointments or elections occur annually in the case of 7 or 9 member boards, and no more than 2 appointments or elections occur annually in the case of a 5-member board, except when required to fill vacancies.
Right. So we have a 5-member board, so only two of them per year can be, so there's 2, 2, and 1. That's the staggered roll.
Yes. Got that staggered.
Yeah.
Right.
So Paul will need to resubmit with the correct dates.
At one point, I did find Carroll County, how much we pay to Carroll County.
Okay.
Ed had asked, it's under T for treasurer, not under Carroll for county. $102,623 for last year.
102,000.
It would be good if you could get some alternates in addition. Right?
Alternates. So 2 need to be 1 year, 2
Well,
need to be
Yeah, there's
1
actually
year.
dates on who expired and who was
Okay.
appointed to fill those expirations. Like I know Dick Peckham didn't run, or didn't seek reappointment.
So they don't have to reappoint the ones that are not up this year.
Right,
That's
we only have
correct.
to reappoint the 2 that are up for this year. So any of them that expire in 2013 need to be reappointed.
Okay, and then you have 2 new members.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do they
they're
have
good
to
for
wait?
3 years.
Oh, okay.
Or
They have to stagger in.
they have to stagger in. More importantly, they may be partial years to fill a vacancy, as long as you stagger them so.
No, we reappointed we didn't reappoint them this year, we reappointed them last year.
That's right.
I
They
don't know,
still,
I'm just saying, new
they have to be
Right.
staggered.
I-
New members, they can be appointed for less than 3 years. The important thing is, no more than 2 come up for reappointment per year.
Right. You're gonna have to, can you go through the letters that we received from the zoning board to see who was the last appointed request was?
Yeah.
And when it was?
Are they going to be meeting soon?
The ZBA,
Mhm.
um,
I haven't been notified of anything, so.
as building inspector, I will say that I had refused a permit based on a sideline or encroachment of a setback, and they will be appealing that. So when that comes about, I don't know.
Okay. So they're going to
They
need
are-
to have their people
They
in
are
place.
planning on having.
Their people are all in place at this point. I think the next expiration of any ZBA member is 2013.
But they have vacancies.
No, they have a 5-man board.
But are any of those new people that he's proposing?
That's what we need to look at the letter and see who the last 2 people we appointed was. Whose terms expired at the beginning of this year. That would be a replacement for
Dick Peckham,
Dick Peckham.
and I submitted mine, so I'm no longer an alternate.
So I think the only one that we reappointed was Dick Peckham.
And then,
Do you have Richard Mauser on there?
yes,
So he got reappointed.
okay,
Janet Murphy,
yeah,
She's there?
Paul Tremblay,
yeah.
Dulcie Lavender.
Nope, she's
Okay.
off.
That's right, because she resigned. So we do have an appointment for her to fill her slot. And then,
And she goes to 14.
yeah,
That slot's open till 14.
no, we filled the slot until 2014 with somebody. And it's on that letter that
If
we
she
did.
resigns, you fill it with the remainder of her term.
Right. It's not an open, we don't leave it an open seat.
So someone was appointed.
So who else is on there that we didn't call off?
Just 2 new people,
Which are?
David Dancero and Brian Robichaux.
And I think those 2 were appointed. I just don't know how they were appointed.
Who had a 1 year?
Yeah, who's until 2014 for Dulcie, and who took a 3-year appointment, which would take them into 2015. So we just need to see how we broke it down on that letter of request.
And he also asked me to be the secretary, so that has to be on the recommendation too.
Jennifer's there, I think you have to do that, but
Doesn't that have to be approved by you?
No. I don't think we approved the zoning boards as secretary. Just like we didn't approve the planning boards. They can hire whoever they want as a secretary. They have a budget for it, and they fill that
We
budget.
do? Look at
You better look.
It's not a big
I thought it
budget.
was
It's very
like-
close to
Yeah.
zero.
Yeah.
Work fast.
And there's no travel.
And no conferences.
No overnight stays. Okay, anything else, Jessica?
Oh, yeah, okay, all right. So work on that. Okay, now we talked in the budget about the email for the website and
Yeah.
everything. Okay. We have a request for the archivist to have his own email address. Now, of course,
Really?
that's gonna cost some money.
He's a subcontractor.
This is why I'm bringing it to you.
Is he an employee now? Really?
Yes.
Everybody's employed.
So I don't know what you wanted to do about that, but
How much is it?
I think it was
Usually
like
$20.
$10, $20.
I think it's,
Take it out of his budget.
yeah,
Is there a budget in here?
yeah, yes.
Oh, yeah, I don't even know if he spent his.
So-
He hasn't spent anything.
If it's approved, that's the email from Rose.
His point was, he is, when he's working in the town capacity as archivist, that email should go through the town email system, rather than directly to him as his home.
Yep, I agree.
And we will take it from his budget. Why not? Okay, Mary Lou?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you take it from minutes.
Who?
Eddie's.
Oh,
Well, if all else fails,
yeah.
That's our emergency reserve, you know.
That's what I was worried about. That's why it's down to, it's gone.
Eddie's budget, it's always
That's the concern.
the first place we go.
how many chairs do you want for in here, Eddie? We're gonna get some nice chairs, and, you know, we thought they could go in your budget.
Well, hey, you know, it's like the Russell Stover's guy there, you know, if my family can come over for dinner, we'll start alternating. And you can take it right out of my budget, we don't even eat.
My last thing is just an intent to cut.
I ain't got to that part yet.
Well,
That's the assessor clerk's job
Yeah, I
now?
know. See, I don't have that on the agenda for me.
Where does Ed sign?
Isn't that
I know where you
under
sign right
Yeah,
there.
but we gotta make sure Ed signs.
Yeah, we had trouble.
code enforcement officer?
Okay.
I have an intent to cut right there.
You like how you jumped right in there, didn't you?
Could you sign it first, sir, because that was,
I don't sign it, you do.
Yep, we do.
but didn't have to go through you? We had a previous thing that we
He's seen it.
we approved that you, I don't remember what it was, and you were upset that we approved it before you had seen it or something like that. Oh, we get permission.
I'm basically presenting that, so I've done
Your
my
homework.
investigation, my
Oh, okay.
homework.
All right.
It's submitted for your signature by me,
By
or
you.
my assistant.
Oh, okay.
Don't you love small towns?
Well, we had an issue
Mini
earlier.
hats.
We had an issue, Phil and I had an
Well,
issue
we got our
earlier.
hands slapped, so we're just,
No,
We didn't understand the process.
Is that all code enforcement has?
other than, as I mentioned earlier, I don't have the map and lot out of my head, but on Pinkham Way, I had an application for a building permit, and then denied it because they didn't meet the setbacks, and asked me what they could do, and I responded with, you know, apply to the ZBA and plead their case. Other than that, that's about it for code enforcement of permits. I have one-
question for you.
Yep.
If somebody were to put a trailer or a mobile home, I'll say trailer, on their home, on their property while they were rebuilding, is that allowed?
It has always been done as long as they have an active building permit and are active in fulfilling that permit. During construction, they've been allowed, and usually it's for the duration of the permit.
Okay. So if somebody has had their house damaged and they want to live in a trailer that's hooked up to the septic system and the electric that's on site,
Yeah, it's always been in this town that was allowed. For the duration of the permit.
that's right, right, it's only,
As long as the permit is active and they're actively working on the house.
Actively working on the house.
They can't have a permit taken out and not be doing anything to the house.
and does that have to be removed?
Does what have to be removed?
I'm asking this just to, the trailer,
It's
is that,
okay.
it's understood that the trailer must be removed,
Yes,
so they don't end up
Yep.
with a second residence.
exactly.
I think if push came to shove,
Can't be a mobile home either.
we should get some clarification from the planning board. Because when you read the documentation that we base everything on officially, Ed used the words, this is what we've done in the past. It's not what's in our zoning. It's an excellent case for the planning board to clarify that. Our zoning doesn't say that. That's our policy. That's not what a judge will read.
And what are you considering trailer versus mobile home?
A travel trailer has always been the case, not a mobile home.
Not a mobile home,
And has wheels.
okay.
And hooks up to a car or a truck.
Or a truck,
Right.
a pull behind.
Pull behind.
Yeah.
See, a lot of people, a lot of insurance companies, if you have a fire or whatever, the first thing they'll do with the insurance company would bring a trailer in, let you live in the trailer while you renovate the house. It's a very common thing to do. And then when the house is done, they take the trailer back. I think that's very logical.
Mhm.
I'm just not sure what our zoning says. I guess I am sure what our zoning
Yeah, our
says.
zoning is not specific. This is just one of them, it's always been done things, and nobody's abused it, and it's worked very well.
But the key is it has to be an active permit and they have to be actively working on the house.
Correct.
And it
That-
must be
that-
removed at the end of the permit. How long can the permit be for?
6 months.
If 6 months to start, and 1 year, if you start it within the 6 months, the permit's good for 1 year.
That's been our policy. That's not what our documentation says.
What, for the permits?
No, for the trailer, for the camper.
Right.
So I understand that's our policy, but it's not, after a year, there's nothing that we can use to make someone move.
See, this has all worked very well in the past, because of the few times it's actually been requested, I believe they were all bank financed, they were all being pushed by the bank to, move along. And, generally you have 3 to 6 months on a construction loan, and you knew there was an end to this process. So I think we have a question.
Tom?
can be removed.
Yes, the permit can be extended for 6 months.
Right.
How about after? How long could this drag out? Is what
Well,
I'm saying.
I don't know.
Has
We
anybody-
have no documentation saying otherwise. There is a limit other than on the permit itself. It says it can be extended for 6 months.
Another approach here would be to say no and let any individual go to the ZBA, get a variance, and have it well documented what that variance supports, X number of months in this condition, and then it's over.
Right.
And that would be the legal way to do it.
Yep.
But to answer to Tom's question is, we issue the permit, the original permit. It can be extended up to 6 months, that's it. After that, it has to be a new permit pulled. And they have to pay the original fees all over again.
But doesn't it just say that construction has to start within the first 6 months?
If the construction does not start within the first 6 months,
Then we do that.
the permit is void.
However, if you start, you could take 10 years to
No.
finish the job.
No.
The permit's good for 1 year.
1 year.
And then you have a 6 months extension by a simple $35 fee. You get an additional 6-month extension. After the 18 months is up,
Yes.
first extension, as Cliff said, then you have to pull another whole permit
You have to go through the whole process all over again.
all over again.
But then,
Yes,
The
Tom?
state of New Hampshire recently had a situation with the permanent campers in campsites, where the state said, not only can you charge them property taxes, but you must charge them property taxes.
That's right.
Would this fall under that classification?
Yes.
So as soon as they put it up, you could say, well, you've got to start paying property taxes
If they're utilizing it as a residence,
as a resident.
then the square footage would be added to their property card.
Which I would assume they would take their house, since it's not.
Livable, and
Livable.
get
That-
another.
be lower.
I don't think that matters. I think that there would be an adjustment to the condition of the house, but the square footage of the house would still remain the same.
Okay.
It's just the classification of livable space, whether it's premium or non-livable.
It's a smoky area that way.
I would think in some cases, we have to use, maybe use the zoning board of adjustment to make sure we have some legal recourse, right? Because that,
Yeah,
they
well,
can.
I
they
agree
can-
with you, because again, this is something that's been done in the past.
That's all right.
Nobody's abused it, it's worked very well, but times change.
But the town has evicted somebody who has tried to live in a travel
As a
trailer.
permanent residence,
As a
which the
permanent
town is
residence.
very explicit,
Right.
is not allowed.
Right.
So we're done with that question, because I do have one thing code officer wise, but not as far as permit. Are we done with that issue?
Is everybody done? Yep, go ahead.
There was a call to the police department today about a technician went to a house under construction and was concerned that there were individuals living in the house way before it was ready to be lived in. Police department called me, asked me what do they want, what am I going to do, and what did they want me, what did I want them to do. And they did state that they would have to investigate, and I said, please do, but wait until after 6:30 tonight so that they could report here to me while I was here to you. And in fact, it's been admitted by the occupant that they are living in this house. Open wiring, open framing, no safety
Okay.
issues. So we can call the police department back and they will go evict them. Maybe I should use that term. They will remove them from the premises. Or we can...
Is the house under a current permit?
Yes.
But no occupancy's been given.
No, they just started. Yep. And they're moving at a very slow pace.
Well, a cease and desist should be ordered. They're in violation of
Yep.
our
Well,
zoning.
I agree, but
and
I'm
code.
the agent, you're the deciding factors in this stuff.
Any concerns, questions? Do you want me to make a motion on this, or, I mean, this is a simple enforcement issue.
Right.
So,
It's a safety issue.
Yeah.
It's a health safety issue,
In
actually.
my opinion, and I have had conversation with the welfare officer about this individual case, and it was suspected by a lot of parties that this is what was happening. So I will call the police department back and send them over there.
Yes, that's what I was asking. I heard two things. I heard a cease and desist, which is time consuming,
Mhm.
and I heard help from the police department.
Mhm.
Which one are we going, or are we going both ways?
both ways.
Okay.
We send the
Cease and
police-
desist is for occupancy, or cease and desist goes against the
A cease-
electric being on and everything else.
No, a cease and desist is to cease and desist all the illegal activity.
Correct.
So what we do is they're already in violation of the building permit,
Mhm.
and there is no certificate of occupancy. So they can be asked to leave the property right now.
But can they go back and work on the property as long as they don't?
Yes.
It's the cease and desist is only for the illegal activity,
I just
which
want to
is,
clarify.
or the violation
The
of the.
occupation of the
Okay,
building.
Right.
That's fine, that's fine.
I don't want to really call it illegal, but it is. It's a violation of the ordinances
The
and
building is not
regulations.
fit to be occupied.
Right, so we cease and desist that. So you'll have to draft that letter and get it out.
And you believe the police will ask them to leave tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, the officer that was here asked if I wanted her to go back then. And I said, no, let me talk with you. And so I will call the sergeant, not this officer, but her sergeant, and I will talk to him.
And I think we should brief the welfare officer as to what we're doing also, because there could be calls there, right?
And if you would give me her number, I will do that.
It's on the Orange Tree.
Oh, not by heart.
Well,
It's at my desk. I got her cell phone.
So what kind of assistant are you if you don't know my name?
I know.
you're everybody's assistant, you're supposed to know that.
You have it?
Yeah, I have it.
Why don't you
I
get
didn't know if I
that?
could give it to you.
There's 3 numbers you want to give Ed.
I want the one that I can get a hold of her now.
Okay.
Joe, because
Okay.
there'll be a reaction there, right? Most likely.
I would expect so.
So would I.
All right, any other issues for code enforcement?
No.
All right.
Road agent.
Agricultural Commission.
We skip over. Don't worry.
That's because I mentioned code enforcement officer, and he jumped up and started
All right,
giving it
all
up.
right.
So he jumped. Cable Commission, Cemetery Trustees. All right, road agent.
Oh, jeez.
All right, Mr. Ray, before you start, I have had a call from an irate citizen who thought they were going to have signs put up at both ends of Lightford Road, and I told them you were directed to, well, I haven't told them because I was away. It was my understanding 2 weeks ago that you were getting signs that were going to replace the speed limit signs and replace if there was a child, beware children or whatever
Yep.
that is.
And upon clarification at last meeting, I promptly called the state corrections and ordered those signs, and we are waiting for them to come.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
You had another action on signs. We were talking about posting signs for Community Watch, and you were going to talk to Concord about what the regulations
Thank
are.
you for reminding me. And I went to see the local district and asked them if we could do that, and unofficially thought it was going to be an okay thing, but officially the town selectmen have to request the permission to do this from the district headquarters over in Guilford. So you have to write a letter asking them what you want, where you want them.
What, the neighborhood what?
Neighborhood watch, community watch, to be put into the state right of way as you enter the town of Brookfield.
State right away.
Yes, that's what we had talked about.
Yep, just the state right away.
Correct.
Yeah, we talked about posting all the state, the town lines.
Instead of doing each individual town road, there's only 3 ways into this town by state road. Actually, there is only 3 ways into this town by class 5 or above. And that would be as you enter Governor's Road from 16, as you enter 109 from 16, or as you enter 109 from Wolfboro,
On State Road.
on State Road.
So what about Stoneham Road? Because that's both Wakefield and...
On State Road, there's those
Okay.
3. We could put, there is 2 other, think real quick, right?
Yeah, you got Stoneham, both ends of Stoneham.
Both ends of Stoneham.
You've got Clark and Garney. One end of Garney and one end of Clark.
We were talking about the state, that's
Right,
that's what you
okay.
asked me to look into.
So if they approve the state ones, then we can do
Then we can
the
do-
town ones.
Then well, yeah, we can do the town ones, we don't need the state's permission to do the town. It was whether you wanted to go that route of doing just the points of entry, or did you want to do individual roads?
Well, has anybody heard anything more from the committee that started this?
No.
Well, they left us with the action item. They made their recommendation and went away.
Okay,
You want them to do something?
absolutely.
What would you like them to do?
I would like them to figure out if they want, give back feedback on how they would like to post it.
Oh, I don't
Because
think
that
we
was,
should. I don't think we should. I think we
that
should
was
go
the
with-
last,
I think we-
And no one asked that question.
the last conversation that I remember having was that each little section was thinking about doing their own little areas.
And
That's
then
right.
you asked me to.
And then we
fill out
looked
a
at
process.
all of the entry points and making it a community watch program instead of a neighborhood watch program, because our neighborhoods are really spread out.
Mhm.
So,
And you made the recommendation that we post that entry to the town.
yeah,
And that's what's on the table.
Yeah.
Then that would be 7 signs, right?
That's right.
signs everywhere.
So I make a motion that we order 7 signs.
I second.
Replacement.
All right, we had a motion, we have it seconded for discussion. Any further discussion?
I have one more. Could we ask you, Ed, to draft a letter that we could sign? Do you know what they want us to say?
Yes, I guess you could.
Thank you. Okay.
Since you're the one that's gonna have to put them up as the road agent.
We could write a letter, but
Could I adjust that? We haven't voted on that, right?
We have not,
I wonder if that should be 8, just because we may think we want one in Pleasant Valley or something.
it's a good idea.
Well, that's, then you go back to that whole, if you do Pleasant Valley, are you gonna do Tumble Down Dick? Are you going to do Hanson Road? Are you going to do Tibbetts Hill? And that's.
All
we were
class
concerned-
5 roads leading in, class 5 or above roads leading into Brookfield. Make it as simple as that.
Okay, so then that would be 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that could be reworded to be 8, make another motion, or withdraw the previous motion, or whatever we have to do.
You can make a motion
Amend
to
the
amend the motion.
Make a motion to amend the motion to the number 8.
I'll second.
Any further discussion on that one? Hearing none, I'll call a vote on the amendment to the motion, raising the signs from 7 to 8. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Now back to the original motion. Any further discussion on the original motion?
Yes. Who's paying for the signs?
Road budget.
I repeat my question, who's paying for the signs?
The road comes out of your budget.
That's a good question. It's the town puts them up, it's the town's budget that has to pay for them. So how much are these signs?
I think you said $100, was that it, roughly?
I can't remember.
$100 each?
No, that was for,
Labor,
that was
posts.
for a whole bunch of them.
Okay.
That was when we had the original count of basically every road in town.
I would think it only makes sense to take it out of the road budget.
Well, the road agent's gonna put them up, right? So he's gonna do the work.
Sure.
In winter,
Yeah, we'll do them in the
in
winter.
winter, because you have more money left.
So when do we officially consider we're in the winter budget?
When he puts the signs up.
All right.
Do we have to vote on that?
We do, because I have a motion and a second. We were discussing it, but no, I haven't called the vote. Any further discussion? Other than we'll have to figure out where we're gonna pull the money from the budget. No further discussion, I'll call the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it.
Is that it for me?
I don't know.
Would you like to know what's going on Stone Road?
Sure, you're still up.
We're well advanced in our prep to grinding. Done all the high limbing and brush removal for the ditches, and I would say we're better than 50% have got the ditches prepared for them to come in and grind. So, just it's progress.
Think it'll be done when? What, you know, what you're...
My part will be done, I don't know, couple of weeks.
And then the price of oil is going sky high,
Yeah, that
so...
concerns me because by the time we made a decision and I contacted the person, they've been booked with state work So I'm in constant contact with them as to when they can come here. And
Keep the price.
yeah, I mean, there is always a clause, there's the clause in there, the petroleum clause.
Yep.
So I'm hoping, he was good the last time, it went up a little bit and he honored his price. He did not take advantage of that, so
Good.
you'll see.
Well, we can always not do it.
You can always leave it dirt, right?
Well, ground up asphalt. That pack's nice.
Other than that, that's about all I have.
Okay. You sure?
Yep.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Conservation Commission.
We had a good meeting. We had a meeting at Dick Peckham's house, and or they had a meeting, and it was done on the lake. It was very nice. Very short, nothing really done.
Over in Wakefield? Cool.
I don't think they
They had
did
the
anything. What?
Got the hikes on Saturday.
All right, Emergency Management Director. He's not here, but we had our little presentation ahead of time. Do
You still have another one coming next week,
Next week.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, next Tuesday. You were sent an email about that from Brett.
Yeah. Okay.
And
And the Forest Fire Warden's not here, so that's good.
Wait a minute, we have his assistant.
Nothing's burning.
Governor Wentworth School District, not here. Heritage Commission. Mary Lou. You got a letter from them?
Yeah.
Oh, the Governor Wentworth Regional School.
They want more money?
No, it's in regards to something I'm not sure that I'm understanding if something was taken out of context. I'll read it's called a tuition, it's RE tuition request. Dear Mr. Camp, in August 2nd edition of the Granite State News, the report on the Selectmen's meeting described an appearance by a Brookfield citizen seeking your support in persuading the school board and me to recognize the citizen's request to pay tuition for an out-of-district high school placement for his son. The taxpayers in the Governor Wentworth Regional School District make great sacrifices to provide resident pupils with a free and appropriate education. Free? Cancel the check. Spending additional taxpayer money to send pupils to programs which already exist within the district has never been a practice to which the school board has subscribed. In fact, there is no budget for such placements. The only out-of-district placements made by Governor Wentworth are related to educational program needs that cannot be met by the resources available within the district. In the situation which you are considering, the issue discussed in the newspaper is not related to the educational services provided by the district or any other issues in school, but non-school situations which can be addressed through parental supervision. The newspaper article indicated that the majority of your board supported this request. Neither the school board nor I believe it's fair to add this non-school related tax burden to our school district's taxpayers. Again, it is not the type of expense that we carry in our budget. However, we certainly respect your opposing view. Consequently, we have no objection if the town of Brookfield wants to pay the tuition expenses out of its own operating budget. Please understand, however, that does not relieve Brookfield of paying any of its share of the cooperative apportionment amount owed to the district, which is based on the pupil membership from 2 years ago. After all, having one of our pupils attend school in another district does not reduce any of our expenses. Please keep us apprised if you plan to financially support the citizen's request. I'm trying to think of a Brookfield resident.
Read the minutes from the meeting.
Yes, he was here. We had quite a discussion.
Read the minutes, it's very clear.
Was I here?
No.
I'm disappointed in that letter because I served on the committee when they were trying to build the new additions. And I just sort of got a different, I was stunned with that answer to that. I just kind of thought our superintendent of schools and his office would have been more understanding of the situation. And only based on what was said here by the parent, there were some issues that the high school or the school district at that time couldn't address with his children. And again, I only can go by what was said here, but I would have thought to have a, I don't know, may have been in the best interest for everybody for them to take that out of their budget. And believe me, the town of Brookfield supported it. I know I would have been one that would have voted otherwise had I known this was the attitude of the superintendency and the school district, and they would have got my vote.
I would have hoped they would have at least had a dialogue with the individual.
Sure.
And understand more fully what the.
I understand, their decision.
I wasn't aware of.
We're out of it. So-
I personally wasn't
Excuse me,
aware of this.
excuse me.
I'm sorry.
So I feel that we should let the school board deal with Mr. Tremblay, and hopefully if we can support the efforts of our school board member to see where we can go with this. I just think that the whole discussion should take place privately, and I think they should have a discussion face-to-face with the individuals, and you just take it out of the newspaper.
I would agree, totally.
Okay. Again, I wasn't aware of this conversation.
And I think that letter could have said
So-
something like to that effect, and I would have been
Hopefully,
very
yeah.
happy with it if he said, well, I'll be happy to meet with him and we can discuss and review it.
Absolutely.
But I didn't get that from him.
Absolutely.
So, okay, then.
We have no action, because there's nothing to do about it. Out of our hands.
Well, it is. I mean, we need to, we can let Paul Tremblay know.
He's on for coffee.
Huh?
I think he's on for coffee.
Oh, he is,
Yeah.
okay. So,
How much do we send the school districts?
quite a bit.
Several million dollars.
And they don't have $10,000 in their budget. That's kind of very hard to believe. But that's up to the superintendent
And the board.
and the board. Right? It's their decision.
Yeah, he actually will, if he's been in that school, if he's been in the Somersworth School District for 2 years, he's off our rolls already.
I don't know
And
who's
we're
paying
not-
for that. I have no
and-
idea.
And we're not paying for that portion of it.
That's right. We never have.
So that's the key thing there. If we were paying, if he was still on our rolls and the town was paying to put him in the Kingswood School District, I think that's the question about reallocating the monies for him.
There's been some emails circulated showing who was attending 2 or 3 years ago. You want to check your email?
There's a list that's put out every year
Yes.
that we have to verify.
Yes, there is. You want to look at that?
Yeah,
I
Yep.
okay.
can give it to you later if you want.
So,
It's just, I know, it's totally out. It's up to them. I'm just disappointed as well.
okay.
Got a comment?
Yes, Tom?
I have been led to believe, true it is, that the father had gone to the superintendent's school prior to coming here and had requested and was denied. And I also understand that the school board is not liable to overturn what the superintendent said. That all happened before he came here.
He didn't share that with us.
Well, his course is to continue up the chain of the ladder to above the school, the superintendent, you know, all the way up to the state if that's what's necessary to get what he's looking for. So.
And I can understand where the superintendent, you just want everybody to say, hey, I want to go to this school or that school. I can totally understand that. I mean, it would be disastrous. But the dad did come in and say he wasn't asking for any more money to be spent if there was a difference in tuition. So he wasn't asking for the difference if it was more in Somersworth. He wasn't asking for transportation. And he based this upon some of the issues they've had previously that were not, in his belief, were not addressed. And I don't know, I've said too much.
Yep.
All right, Heritage Commission.
Hi there.
Hi there, ho there.
We had a wonderful day on Saturday. It didn't rain. Yes. We lucked out. I have a long list of thank yous. First of all, to Rick Surratt and DJ for doing the barbecue. You know, he works very hard at and doesn't charge. He does it on behalf as chairman of the Agricultural Commission. And and it's a wonderful thing that he gives us that much effort. Then to John and Lynn Schaefer, he runs the kitchen for me, and she's a great waitress. The Heritage Commission for all our hard work and support. And then to Rose for selling tickets and also and raffle tickets and baking cookies for us during the day. Eddie for 4 cabbages. We made 5, we made coleslaw. And then to Art Wheeler and the rest of the Agricultural Commission for supporting us, and Art also made a pot of beans and some cornbread. And the selectmen for attending and helping us clean up at the end. That was very nice, appreciated. And all who came and ate, it was a wonderful success. We sold about 6 more tickets than last year, so we had sold 98 tickets and fed over 100 people again this year. So what a great turnout. We sold, during the day we had the antiques appraisal, and it wasn't a big rush of people, which I didn't expect anyway, but it was a steady, interesting day. The antiques appraisers, one of the women was very cute. She said, so the first woman that walked in with 3 items, walked in with one of these wooden writing desks, and the appraiser thought, oh my gosh, I sell these for $20 in my store, give me a break. And then the woman pulled out an original manuscript from 1669.
Neat.
Medical book, and she said it blew me out of the water. And she said, we didn't know how do you appraise something like that? You can't.
Lots of zeros.
Lots of zeros. And they also had their original passage from the early 1700s papers that were all rolled up in little wooden things, round cylinders, which was very cool as well. So a lot of interesting things came in. We had an airplane propeller, a rifle. It was just a chair from the Civil War days. So what an interesting day. And it was great fun. So we made $60 on that. We sold 2 town histories for $60. And so it was a great day. And thank you all for your support. And that was number 4. We'll see what we do next year. I'm still too tired to think about it.
Well, thank you for your effort. You did an excellent job. Hopefully,
you know
you did.
It's my thing, and I truly love doing it and having the building open and being able to talk to people. So I also did an exhibit this year, a storyboard on, thanks to Comeau for loaning us a computer, and showed the Lieutenant Colonel James Hackett video that he produced, which is wonderful and for sale. So contact either someone through the website or the Heritage Commission, and we'll get you a copy of it if you're interested in it. And then I did a storyboard on his life, and Craig Evans did one on the family descendants that came down from Colonel Hackett. So that was very interesting. I do have one thing I'd like to talk to you about. In doing this day, we needed to get in to sell books into the old town clerk's office in the townhouse. And there is a very large old wooden desk in the room, as well as the thing that holds the pots, which is fine, can be in there. But you can barely open the doors. I would like to either see if it would be all right with the selectmen to either option A, move the furniture around so that we can have more room in there to walk in there, or B, put the desk on the road for someone to.
Did they appraise that?
No, they stopped. They couldn't get in there. Trust me, you can't get in there. So it's just something for you to think about, but I would like to revisit it at a future meeting and say, can we at least, if nothing else, move the furniture around? So we
Absolutely. Go ahead. Knock yourself out moving the furniture around.
All right, we'll do that.
The blessing has been given.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a great day. And
then we'll take a look at the furniture and decide whether or not we need to keep it or not.
It's that huge old wooden desk that Virginia used to use up on the stage. In town meetings.
It could be like
it's government issue.
Oh, that makes it even more valuable.
Government?
That's one of those $50,000 desks, right?
Town meeting.
Right next to the $700 hammer?
Could be.
The Resolute desk, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Joint loss management quarterly meeting?
Yes, we did do it. We
Cool.
had the meeting. Couple issues we're gonna be taken care of. Rich is gonna get the water tested. Apparently it hadn't been tested in at least 4 years is what we have documented.
Okay.
So we're gonna do that, and the lights, we're all set with the lights. We discussed the lights on the outside, how you have to push the button and turn the dial to make them go on. It takes 5 minutes for them to warm up.
Oh, the backlights.
It's a wildlife here.
Is the back lights or the front lights?
Side light.
Oh, side light.
Yeah, the back and the sides take a
Okay.
little while to warm up because of the type of
Yeah,
light
so we
they
talked
are.
about that. And then the fire extinguishers, they haven't been,
I've spoken to Brad about that.
Yeah,
And
checked
he
since-
said he's checked them, though I don't see the mark. I brought
right,
that
because we
up.
said August of 2009 is the last marking.
I brought that to his attention,
Yeah.
and he said they're okay, but I will do that.
That's when I
again.
had, actually I had our old warden, Doug, come through and take care of those back in 2009.
2009,
They should be done yearly.
right, right. And they should be marked annually, too.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Nason,
I believe that the stamp is when they were recharged.
This one, in this building, it is recharged.
But I think
The
that
other
the
building is
2009
new.
stamp is when it was recharged.
That's what it says,
Doesn't
yeah.
mean that it hasn't been checked since 2009. Because I know Brad did check them recently.
Recently.
Yep.
So that would be a good thing, though, for him to just date.
Maybe
and
mark
check.
it,
Yeah.
mark it down.
And
Have his
recheck.
own separate tag on them or something.
Yeah. I mean, how often do they have to be recharged, do you know?
when they go dead.
Well, how, yeah, I guess he
You watch
checks
the-
them, he actually squirts it, or?
No, you gotta look at the little
The
gauge.
gauge, oh,
When it goes into the red, it's dead.
got it.
Green is go.
I had one other issue at the townhouse on Saturday, and that was that someone needs to, and I'm not sure who is the best person for this, in the men's restroom, the light flashes, no matter which way you turn, it flashes and goes off, no matter which way you turn the switch. You turn it up, flashes, goes off, turn it down, flashes, goes off.
Well, that would be a job for the electrician.
Okay.
Who was our electrician?
Bobby Sonnecker.
Okay.
So,
I will drop him a note.
Okay.
Do we have any other electrical things while he's here? Anybody can think of? Okay, I'll just,
I understand.
I'd like more outlets over there.
That's it for joint loss management. Our next meeting's not until December 11th.
oh, information on the floor. Did we ever get on the building next door that you mentioned? Anything, where do we leave that? Wasn't Eddie or somebody coming across?
trying to put out a RFP this fall and ask for proposals to repair underneath, possibly. To either do it this fall, Clifton thinks there's enough money in this year's budget, or to do it, put it into next year's budget.
I thought of that when they had the breakfast, or when they had
Yep.
the thing in there serving.
Yeah, but Eddie did go through and felt that it was safe enough to, and all we had was one table back there. And only like 3 or 4 people had it, and then the food.
I saw you weighing them before they sat down,
Yes,
just
sir.
to make sure.
Planning board. Ed, would you like to speak to the planning board? Since the other planning board member took off?
Next week, we're going to start the capital improvement program where the Conservation.
Next week?
Heritage Commission, I'm sorry, next meeting, next month. Where the Heritage Commission will be certainly invited. We also went through permits clarification of different types of applications. We're still working on that. And we also revived a working document about accessory uses for home-based businesses. And we revised this document that Rob Collins had started working on, and we're going to address this in the coming months. And let's see, we did send out that letter to the Regional Planning Commission to have them come back and give us a presentation on the Granite State Future Agreement. You want to add anything to the planning board?
I didn't hear what you covered, but did you talk about the
working document that Rob Collins worked on, which
Yep.
is the accessory uses and home occupations for starters.
and we did not advance any in our CIP document.
But the Heritage Commission certainly will
That's correct.
be involved.
Am I out of line with my concern about the zoning and some of the vagueness in there? How does the board feel about that? I mean, right now, it is what it is,
And it's worked for many years.
and we can lose a lot of money on it in court. It is vague.
That's why the board is tackling specific pieces of it, one piece at a time.
Do we want to make any recommendations as to what they should look at, maybe? What about when a house burns down? Are we going to have people apply for variances? Are we going to say that you're allowed to have a trailer while you're rebuilding? Or are we going to leave it open? As an example.
Well, there is a clause in the zoning already for structure fires that gives guidelines on how fast it has to be put back into operation or removed. And that is a 1-year time frame.
That's right.
So, but whether or not that we're going to allow campers or trailers or other forms of shelter on the property while they're rebuilding, I guess could be visited and put in there. And if that's the direction that you feel that we should address with the planning board, then I'm more than happy to address it with them.
Well, I'm asking the board their opinion. I mean, how do we communicate if we think there's an issue with the board, have them look at it? We're not making the rules, we're just saying, are you happy with what we have and do we want to change it?
Well, then you give me direction since I'm the selectman on the planning board as the representative, and I bring it to the planning board's attention.
Okay. I feel like they should look at some of those issues. You're talking about home-based,
Businesses.
and that's fine. Tighten it up or clarify it, but I think there's some other areas too, specifically this lodging when we have a house fire or something catastrophic happens. I don't know how you feel about it. Whether you want Clifton to take that to the meeting or not.
There's an advantage to having a policy because once we just do something, someone will always say you did it for this person and not for that person.
That's true also.
And whether or not that's actual land use, or if that could be controlled under a selectman's ordinance.
Might be able to be.
So when I have the attorney on the phone, I will ask her that real quick and see if that is something that we put together as an ordinance, as a selectman's ordinance, or if it has to go through the land use board.
That'll be fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else? Any other commissions, committees, or groups that want to speak to the board? Yes?
Is this public comment or?
No.
Okay.
I'm looking for committees, commissions, or groups or officials that would like to continue to address the board, and the code officer would like to continue.
As an update, I talked to Sergeant Lamb of the Wakefield PD, and we both discussed and thought it was best if, rather than ask to leave at 9:15 at night, to ask her to be out by 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. But I did recommend that he send an officer over tonight to let them know tonight. And he said that was reasonable.
Okay. Thank you for the update. Any old business?
Yes. What are we going to do with Nate Fogg and our perambulation?
Have we paid him in full for that yet?
No, we paid him half.
So let's send him a bill for our half that he hasn't finished yet and ask for our money back. That'll get him motivated.
Does it need an accompanying letter? That was a question.
I think before we go that route,
Winter's coming, right? If we don't get it done before the snow flies, we're done.
Isn't
well, I
there,
think it's actually easier for him to do it in the fall than it is to do it in the summer, because the foliage is off the trees and it's easier going up in that neck of the woods, because that's,
The GPS units work better.
yeah, because at that point, because he's up on top of the mountain at this point, right?
He's got
If I remember.
1 point left up on the mountain.
Yeah, so he may be waiting for fall, so let me call him. And get an update and projected completion date. And I'll bring it back to the next meeting.
While you're on things, I had a request from somebody on the Conservation Commission. They had two, I'd say children, young adults who helped out when we had our breakfast.
Yes.
And there were at least two, and
Yes.
you had said you were sending them a thank you. They didn't think that went out. So.
It has not. It's actually the names, and that's my remiss, and I will have that corrected immediately for the board to sign. Those are thank you for community service letters that we have done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So I will get those all printed up in the next day, and I'll have them back here in your boxes to be signed so we can get them out.
Okay.
I'll type those letters. I already have it on the computer.
Oh, okay.
I just have to put names in. So, and I apologize for that, because it is a long time overdue. Any other old business? New business? Mail. All right, what do we got?
I guess well, thinking about it, the meeting for next week is really going to go under an emergency management meeting.
Yes.
In which the selectmen are invited, and the police chief and all the other people.
Well, you're
They have a
invited.
wildlife
I'm
festival.
invited.
You're invited.
Hey, do they have a conference? Where is it? Fall?
Avatar Associations of New England. Dear board members, during your evaluation update years, we have historically offered the services of valuing your utility property. This work was always done by Gary Roberge, as he's had the experience to do so, and the Department of Revenue's values were always significantly lower and inconsistent. As you all know, Gary has retired from assessing and will have little involvement in the assessing related matters. This includes valuation of utility properties. If we have recently valued your utility properties, we will continue to defend those assessments. However, from this point forward, we will no longer include this as one of the services Avatar provides. The Department of Revenue, in our opinion, has got much better with evaluations of these properties over the years, and we are confident that they will continue to do so going forward. You will notice in your next update contract a statement that we will use the New Hampshire Department of Revenue utility values for your community. We will adjust your update costs to reflect the fact. Unless we are directed otherwise by you, we will be implementing DRA values for your utility properties during the next townwide update. As always, should you have any concerns, please do not hesitate to contact me. Sincerely, Lauren J. Martin, CNHA, Senior Assessor, President Assessing Operations.
Did you notice we had a little addition to our bills for that? When you looked at your electric bill?
Yes.
They had a new little
Yes.
clause to cover that? You're
Yes.
billing each of us for that?
Well, you didn't think they were going to absorb it, did you?
We should have gotten it for the 100%.
Kingswood Regional School Board meeting yesterday.
I'm opening and I'm just giving it to you.
Okay.
Don't let them read.
New Hampshire Academy Investigative and Security Training. The source, drinking water source protection program, that should actually go to the Conservation Commission. American Red Cross, it is that time of the year, isn't it? They would like funds from us, so this will go in our budget packet.
I have one started if you want to go.
Cool beans. What do you got? Education tax warrant for the tax year of 2013. To the Selectmen Assessors, the Department of Revenue Administration has calculated the portion of the 2013 education tax to be raised by each municipality in the 2013 tax year. The 2013 education tax sums due for each municipality are set forth on the attached chart. In accordance with the provisions of RSA 76:8, you are hereby directed to assess the 2013 education tax sum using the amount set forth on the attached chart, which is hereby incorporated as part of this warrant, and pay it to your municipality for the use of the school district or districts for fiscal year 2013-2014. Per RSA 76:3, this amount is based on a uniform rate of $2.43.50 per thousand of 2011 equalization values without utilities. Wow.
Do we just do it, or does that have to be in the law? I know, we have no choice.
And Brookfield,
Let's see what we paid last year.
I couldn't find it. They go for it.
it's $250,236.
That is the question.
Turn it around, Clifton.
We're gonna just put tax rates down for each vote of the book.
Well, this isn't the tax rate.
No, that's the bill. We have to recover that money. It's not.
Yeah, that's for April 1st, 2013. So this will actually, I believe, is incorporated in our annual, when we do our setting of our taxes.
Yes.
This is just their upcoming saying that it'll be $2.43.50 per thousand based on last year's
State was
numbers.
247.
So we went down 3.5 cents
Per thousand.
per thousand versus last year.
Well, 2011, yeah. The last published one we had, I don't know
Yeah.
what this year
Yeah, I
was.
don't understand. We'll have to figure it out.
Here it is down the bottom.
I understand that, but see, they gave us a number based upon our assessed property values.
Of 2011.
If they changed because of abatements, do we still have?
Oh, I see what you're talking about, yeah. Are they expecting that 250,000?
Yes, or are they expecting this rate?
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that question. This goes into the tax collector, I guess, right?
No.
No.
Goes to
budget.
Mary Lou.
Yeah.
This goes to you, Mary Lou?
Yep, budget.
It's a warrant to collect taxes.
I think you'll have it when you go, I think you should keep it till you go to the RA.
Right.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I think similar papers are part of what the package she gives you and sends. And could I just ask that when she always emails this whole packet of stuff, and it's important that I get a copy of that email and all her files.
Yes.
Bernie sent it to me last year. And
Okay.
And Cartographic Services, Cartographic Associates Incorporated sent us a couple of nice little ads for introducing Query Manager Online, an interactive cloud-based GIS mapping service for municipalities. So, what's this one?
That was just a copy of Virginia's.
Oh,
that was
okay.
that,
Where's
That's
this
for
supposed to
meeting for
go?
the town. That goes to Mary Lou. And then we have NHTI Concord's Community College, their academic programs. Anybody interested? All right. Before I adjourn, any other further public comments? Mr. Nason?
Next week's meeting, is it a meeting? Is it a, what is it? I'm concerned about notification of it. If there's decisions being made, shouldn't it be noticed?
To my knowledge, it is a presentation that takes about 2 hours.
And yes, it has to be noticed. It has to be posted on the boards.
And this is, from what I can gather, we originally thought of it doing as a selectmen's meeting, and then it would seem the questions went, and I believe it's going to be listed as an emergency management meeting, in which the heads of all the different, everything conceivable come, and they go through the plan that would be used. And it's at least an hour and a half, 2 hour presentation.
So Brad will need to post it.
Okay. I will remind him.
Because it is a public meeting. Or a public workshop. He needs to post it as a workshop, unless there's decisions to be made.
Okay.
Any other further public comments?
The reason why I asked about how much Brookfield actually pays to the county is because recently they had a group come to say they wanted to make the old nursing home, which is now vacant, except for it houses the pellet boiler. They wanted to convert it to a homeless shelter. I just wanted to make people aware of that they're looking into that. It's either going to be a homeless shelter overall or just a veterans homeless shelter. And I would invite anybody to either come to the meeting tomorrow. It starts at 8:30 a.m. to give your input on anything that goes on at the county, because we do pay $103,000 of our taxpayers' dollars to have those services. If anybody has any questions, email them to me and I will ask them during the meeting. There has to be more input at the county with the amount of money that goes up from all the communities within the county.
I thought that building was deemed like uninhabitable. I don't know the right word.
Oh, no.
for it.
It's not per code. It's not
per code.
For a nursing home.
But it would be for a homeless shelter?
It can be.
Or office space, or whatever else they decided to utilize it as. I think it has something to do with the elderly, being able to handle the elderly within a certain code is why it's not habitable for as a nursing home.
And the public input about this is very important because there's more to it. I mean, everybody, believes veterans and homeless should have some opportunities to better themselves, but there are other things you have to account for. The building does need to be repaired. They said they would take up the repair themselves. I mean, there is asbestos in the building, and there's a lot more things that go into that building than just opening it up for a homeless shelter. Just want to make you aware that that's what the plans are. And also, any questions, please send them to me. Thank you.
And that's in the county commissioner's room?
Correct.
And that's in the old building, or where are they?
It's in the administration building. Are you talking about where the
meeting will be held?
The meeting will be held in the delegation room, 95 Water Village Road, Ossipee.
Is that where the deeds are, or is that?
Correct. It's upstairs,
All right.
floor 2. And it's also videotaped on GovernmentOversite.com. I do have one last comment. 3 weeks ago, the commissioners voted unanimously to add a link on the county website for GovernmentOversite.com because it's referenced at least 6 times every meeting for the clerk, and all commissioners use it. It would be, I think, a good idea to add a link to Brookfield's website also, so if the people in town do not know there is a way of watching the meetings, they would know that. That's my last comment.
Yes, ma'am.
The library has also asked that we advertise some of their events on our website so that the citizens of Brookfield know about them if they happen to go our website and say, oh, there's something going on in the library. And it could be just a link to the library's website saying, you know, there's an activity going on, go see the library, rather than, you know, really having advertisement on our website for them.
There's no link right now.
There's a link to the library.
To the library.
But they had their art sale last month, for instance.
Yeah.
And they asked if we would post something on our website saying the library is having an art sale, go to this link.
So we have a link to the library now.
Yes.
What if we just added the phrase, for more information and upcoming events, visit the Wakefield Library, or whatever it's called, at this link.
If the information isn't on the homepage, it's unlikely it would get seen. Is that what you're saying?
Isn't there a link on the homepage?
No.
There
You have
is-
to go to like additional resources
Yes.
somewhere, right? And then bring down.
It's off the homepage, but they're asking for a notice on our homepage
Yeah.
saying that, hey, something's happening, go look. And I could see, you know, the Wolfboro Rec might be interested in having something like that.
Yeah, pretty soon your whole homepage is
See,
full of
that's what I'm worried about.
advertisement.
It's very busy. The homepage I find is busy because of all the events, but I don't.
I'm gonna email you, I happened to look at a website trying to find something about a town today, and they had a really, I know we're not changing, but it made me share with the folks that made this one up statewide, but it was really slick how they had this laid out, just to look at for ideas.
Thank you.
It was nicely done.
I think it'd be good for us to have a policy. Hate to say it, but something that we can say, this is the town's policy.
I mean, what happens if the church says we're having?
That's right.
I'm a non-advertisement kind of guy unless it's a town-sponsored event.
Well, we could say that as our policy.
I think we gotta think about this one.
I agree with that too.
I would welcome public's comments and input at the next selectmen's meeting. So for those people who are watching the Oversite.com, come on in and help us decide this, since the website is for the people of Brookfield. And no more tax in Bill's chair.
Yes, is the police coming to take fingerprints off these tags?
Oh, man, I've been handling them all
Yeah, I was
night.
gonna
I kind of wondered that. For the sake of argument, in case people, went through a carpet that's on the, so I mean, obviously, if I
So they were
sat
under the
direct,
carpet?
they're I would have put them under the carpet, so somebody knew what they were doing, because I would have known sitting on one of those things. So, anyway, I
it's
will
time for
think about
security
everybody
system.
as I go through this. I'll be thinking,
Do you think it was
yeah.
for the person that was sitting there last night? Versus you?
I don't know.
Weren't you sitting here last
So it was
night?
it was done today. Because the person sitting in that chair, it wasn't there last night, and I was in this building till 10:30 last night.
But the building was open all day. We had Virginia here, so it could be anybody coming in.
That's true.
Tuesday morning. she
I
was
have
here.
I've got to watch myself here.
Yeah,
So
all right.
drink and eat and-
Before
Thank
we
you, whoever
ramble
did
on.
that. I'll get even with you.
No, be careful, no threats. Any other further business before the board? Hearing none, this board is adjourned.